Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Unspoken Truth. Hey, Kyna, how you doing?
I'm okay. No. No, I'm actually great. I've been telling people lately fantabulous. And that's
Fantabulous.
fantabulous. Yes. Even on the days that I don't feel fantabulous, I'm still fantabulous because I'm here.
You know what? It's a day that other people weren't able to see for one reason or a million. So, so like my mom says, if you're on this side of the earth, you know, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good.
Pretty good. Yes. Yes.
Well, I want to welcome everyone to another episode of the Unspoken Truth. It's a podcast where we're going to strip away all the filters and tell you the truth. The truth, well, as we see it and as we've experienced it over the last, as a combined 30 years of being in and around the coaching business. And we're going to give you strategies and mindset shifts that actually make business building as a coach work. I am your girl, J Black of J Black and Co. And I am your systems and strategy queen of this dynamic powerhouse duo. And this, alongside me, is my sister in business, Mrs. Kyna B. I keep wanting to say Miss, but Mrs. Kyna B. And she is your leadership and mindset coach who's going to get your head right and make sure that your heart is aligned so that you'll be able to take it to the next level. So together we help you build, strengthen, grow, and scale like a real CEO and not like a hustler.
I'm a hustler, homie.
You know what, my best friend, she said yesterday, she said, you know what I love about you, Jay? You always hustling. And she said, because yesterday I had a migraine. She said, you always hustling. And I'm like, well, things got to get done. But, whenever we come to you, we're going to always give you the truth unfiltered. So it's always unfiltered, always the truth. So go ahead and grab your coffee, get your water, take a deep breath. Let's get into another episode of The Unspoken Truth. We're going to talk about this episode, consistency, and how it looks different in every season. So here, um, we're always taught, rather, that consistency needs to be a grind. It does need to be a hustle. And in order to be consistent, it needs to look like you showing up in a certain way every day. And we're going to talk about that because that's really not the truth. Consistency looks different. It's going to look different every day. It's not going to be the same thing every day. It's all about you staying consistent to the same goal. That's what consistency is. And the method to you staying consistent is going to look different in every season that you find yourself in your business in. So I want you all out there who's listening to us live, joining us live, those who are listening on the podcast, or if you're watching replays, I want you to change how you view business building and the need for consistency while you're doing that. Okay, because again, consistency is going to look different. The grind culture really sold us a bill of goods, thinking that consistency only looks and works if people are showing up a certain way.
Exhausted. Call it
Right.
what it is.
Exactly. In order for you to be consistent, for example, you need to post every day. You need to be visible every day. Is that really reasonable? Can you really do that? And let's be clear, you're not, for those gurus who are showing up every day and you see them live, or you see, not live, you see their posts every day, or a video clip or something like that every day. Let's be clear, it's not them that's consistent, it's their social media manager who's consistent, it's their team who's being consistent and showing up every day, it's their systems that are showing up every day, not them.
Physically not them. It's the automations that they have set in place, which you should have them
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. And that's not realistic, especially for people who have responsibilities, people who have chronic illnesses, people who have kids, people who have lives. Basically, the robots that are out there. That's reasonable, but not people who really have life in. you know. What do you think about that? That the grind culture has really lied to us about what consistency is and what it looks like.
Oh man, I have so many thoughts around this, and I can definitely speak into believing and even buying into the grind culture. I mean, my husband and I created a business called Grind Different. So, on some way, in some way, shape, or form, I bought into it. I thought I had to, work 12 hours, 16-hour days, wake up exhausted, have this whole no sleep mentality. Like, what's the minimum amount of hours I can sleep so I can be awake and be working those other hours? So I want to approach this from a different perspective, though. How is your consumer, since we're talking about posting every day, how is your consumer able to consume your information if you're posting every day? Because remember, Jay said, life be lifing. So you're out here posting every day and you're not getting the results that you wanted, because presumably posting every day, I should start to see things like go up. I should start to see people, more followers. I should start to see more sales. I should start to see all of these things. I mean, isn't that why you're posting every day? But then you don't. Then you don't see those things every day, and now you're like, what happened? Why not? Why is Jay? Are you playing around with the thing?
I'm trying to get the
I
get it
like
so
it though.
on Instagram people can see. Yeah.
I like it though. And if y'all didn't listen to the last episode, and if I didn't say this before, you're going to hear me say this a lot. We are doing this messy. So you're going to see and hear squirrel moments. You're going to see and hear us like trying different things. I mean, so just follow along with us. Take some notes of what to do and what not to do. But anyway, my concern after me going through that was, I really wasn't doing this for the person that I was trying to help, the people that I was trying to help. This was all about me. And if I, if you dig down as a coach, as a consultant, and your thing is, I'm out here trying to solve a problem for this group of people. The thing that you have to do is understand, and Jay, I don't know if you remember this. Remember how we used to be like, what's the best time of day? What's the best days that we can, that we know the person we're trying to attract is going to be on Facebook and Instagram? Do we know that? I think we lost that because seemingly people are on all day, every day, 365 days a year. presumably, but that's not true. And so for me, consistency actually started to look a little different. Did I pay attention to consumers and what they were saying and what they were clicking on and when they were clicking on it? Absolutely. But I also had to start paying attention to myself. We have seasons. We have moments that if we are paying attention, we have to slow down. We have to say, you know, I need a break right now. Like this grind that I'm on, this hustle that I'm on, there seemingly is no end to it. Like I don't see an end to this. And that in itself, can be very exhausting. So, as we are having this mentality, or if we feeling like we have to post every day, I'm gonna encourage you to answer the question, my famous question, and that's why. Why? Are you trying to hurry up and build your followers? Okay, I can understand posting every day. Are you trying to sell out a workshop? What are you actually trying to accomplish by doing this? Because a lot of times we're following the guru or what we see somebody else doing. Oh, she posts every day, twice a day, so I'm gonna go ahead and model what she's doing without knowing why that guru or that person that you're following is doing it in the first place. So if you're a part of that whole mentality of I have to do this every day, whatever this is, ask yourself why. And if you don't have a good enough reason, guess what? Probably time for you to pause. Probably time for you to reach out to J or I so we can redirect you.
I totally agree with you on that, because this is one thing that I have found to be true about the coaching industry. The coaching industry glorifies discipline. They glorify hustle and grind, but they refuse to talk about capacity. Do you have the capacity to do what they determine, what other people determine is grinding or hustling or success or being present and visible? Are they talking about what's really required in order to meet that expectation or what that looks like? They don't. Let's be clear that a consistent coach is not one who never stops. It's the one who knows when to pause. And if you don't know about the pausing, when to take a break, falling off, listen to the previous episode when we talk about that. So I want to be clear that it's not the inconsistency that's our problem, because we all suffer from the problem or the challenge of being consistent or feeling that we are inconsistent. Okay, so it's really not inconsistency that's the problem. It's our expectations that's the problem. It's that we're thinking that we have to keep up with what somebody else's vision or what somebody else's perception looks like, what their schedule looks like, what their energy is. But that's not going to work, because what they have going on is not what you got going on. What my body can do and produce and how I can show up is going to be different, totally different from Kyna's. I don't have any kids.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
I don't have a husband. Kyna does. But I have several health issues. Kyna doesn't. So my ability to where I have the ability and the bandwidth and the time to do certain things, Kyna doesn't. But where Kyna has the ability and the energy, I don't. So we have to redefine what consistency looks like. And then you need to build your business around that.
That. Yep.
So stop worshiping at the altar of grind and hustle. Stop doing that. Start putting systems in place, put automations in place, put a realistic point of view and expectation in place. Replace what you think someone else is expecting of you and be realistic with what you can expect from yourself, because they're going to be gone. They don't live your life. They don't know. You're having to deal with the before, during, and after of your life.
Yeah.
They're not. So be realistic about your expectations of yourself. Put things in place so that you can be quote unquote consistent, especially in the next year. That's just right around the corner. But you know what? Honestly, you don't have to wait until 2026, or you don't have to wait to the next month. You don't have to wait to the next quarter. You can do it now.
Now. And I encourage you to do it now. Jay, one thing that I was just thinking, and I know we're going to get to this, talking about strategic and emotional consistency. But a lot of times people believe they have a consistency problem, and I start asking them questions. Like, do you consistently brush your teeth in the morning, or do you forget? Do you, if you exercise, have you been consistently exercising? How long has that been? Most time they say a couple years. You don't have a problem with consistency. Do you write in your journal? Do you write in your journal? And I'm glad I said journal. I used to get on myself so bad about not writing in my journal every day. And I know I got that kind of mindset from, when you was a little girl, you had a little lock on your journal, and every day, well, at least for me, every day after school, I would unlock my little journal and I would talk about what happened in school every day. And I did that every single day. And going back to Jay's point, at that time, it was just me versus me. There was no Brianna, there was no Siani, there was no Stefan, Justin. None of them people was in my life at that point.
And for those who don't know, those are her kids and her husband.
Yes, thank you for that. But they were not here. So my ability to write in my journal every day I was able to do it without hesitation. Unfortunately, I kept that same standard once they got here. Once, Stefan got into my life, once my children, and I don't know at what point, it probably took about 20 years, and I don't want this to be a 20-year thing for you. It took me about 20 years to realize that I have been consistent in my journal. Like, I have a stack of them. And do I write every day? No. Do I write every week? Sometimes, no. I really don't. But the point is, I had to redefine consistency based off of what was going on in my life at this time, and not what was happening with me when I was 13. Okay, that was years ago. No, I don't have a problem with telling people my age. That was almost 35 years ago. So again, for those who are feeling like you're hard on yourself when it comes to being consistent in your business, in your personal life, I would ask you to take a step back and say, okay, I am consistent in these areas. I'm not consistent in this. And then go back to that same question of why. Thank you. Going back to that same question of why am I not? What thing or things are in my life that is causing me to not be able to replicate what I did 30 years ago?
I really do like that. And Kyna, I guess we're at the point where in this conversation we have to look at how to define consistency. And I think what we're both saying is that consistency isn't about doing the same thing at the same time over and over and over again. It's about staying committed to the outcome, staying committed to the habit. Because what you were saying, you didn't write in your journal, or you don't write in your journal every day at 5 p.m.
No,
You don't do that.
no.
However, you have a habit. Maybe the habit could be whenever you feel stuck, I go to my journal to write out my thoughts, to express my feelings. Whenever a momentous event happen, or when I meet a milestone, I do this. That is consistent. So consistency, again, it's staying the course even whenever the methods change, or whenever the time of day change, or whenever those variables change. Do you still come back to the same goal, to the same actions? And for you, that's what you have done since you were younger. You go to My method of getting stuff out is to go to my journal.
Yep.
My method of getting things out, I don't journal, but that's just not me. But my method would be probably going to the scriptures, or praying, or doing, meditating on scripture. That may be my method of getting things out. And I do that consistently. Do I do that every day at 4 o'clock in the morning? No, I don't.
Because you're not robotic, Jay. Like, we're
Right.
not robotic. We're human. And we cannot predict certain things happening in our lives or not happening at certain times. So, and again, that's a setup. If I'm saying I'm going to journal at 5 o'clock every single day, I have just introduced a whole setup and a whole level of anxiety that I don't need. And it's all because, and again, you scratch your head like, why does it have to be that specific?
Mhm.
Part of it is because we have forgotten. So we're being consistent, I'm assuming, to reach a goal. What's the goal?
Right.
So is it for me to not crash out? I'm serious. My goal for not for journaling when I'm having a moment is that I don't crash out. Because a lot of times what I have found, I can be very unreasonable. So,
Right.
so if I know that about myself, so please listen to what I said. I know myself. I can be very unreasonable. I need a method that will break the monotony for me of not just wanting to, again, crash out on somebody. So here it is. Kyna, pull out your journal. Kyna, hold on. Kyna, pull out your journal. Like, it's with me all day, every day, because I just don't know. Shoot, Jay may say something before the end of this, and I'm like, let me hold on a minute. Let me write down.
And for y'all who are listening on the podcast, she just pulled out a journal out of her
Book bag.
bag. See, she carries a journal with her. Ask me if I carry a journal with me. No, I have notes on my phone, but guess what? I won't put anything down there.
Oh my gosh. But yes, so again, a lot of us are so hard on ourselves without, taking a step back and saying, but why? What what am I what am I really doing? Like, this is not helping. I'm not helping myself. I want to be consistent, but I'm not helping myself because I've set an expectation that's too high.
I'm glad you said that because with me, this is. Let me tell you about my story. Okay, let me move into this area. So let me tell you about my story. Um, as you all know, I have various health issues. So, with these various health issues, I have the desire to show up all the time. I want to be, I relate showing up all the time to being reliable. I show up, I relate showing up all the time as being um, dependable, as being your go to person, as being someone that you can trust. So that's what, to me, showing up all the time looks like. And for you all who are watching us live, let me know if you all relate to any of this. But guess what? That's what my mind says, but my body says, mm-mm, nope, that's not that's not how we look at being consistent or being or showing up. That's not how we see it. Um, and I do believe I have come to learn this lesson. You could do things either voluntarily or you can do things involuntarily. Life, uh, two things that are consistent. Life and God's going to help you decide on one of those two. You could either do things voluntarily or you could do it involuntarily, meaning you could sit up there and we look at maybe generations before us and we're like, oh man, my mom, she went to work and she only had one eye operating properly and her arm was hanging off and this side was numb and she was still going to work, and she was still making it happen. And there are days when she wasn't feeling good and she still got it together and she powered through it. And we compare ourselves to them and like, okay, well, if my mom was able to do it with one eye and with half of her arm hanging on for dear life, and she couldn't, and we list all of these things and we're like, if she could do it, then I can do it. And we force ourselves to quote unquote power through it. um let me let you know that she ain't you. Her situation is not your situation. And I bet you if you asked your mom, your aunt, your grandma, whoever it is, whoever that person is that you hold in your mind as the ideal, the consummate person who shows up and who is superwoman, if you asked her, does she think that she's that person? I bet you she'll say no. And she will go and pick out another person in her past from a generation of old who's like, but see, I looked at my mom. I looked at my grandmother and she was able to, and I couldn't show up every day. There's always someone in our mind who did it better. There's always, but the reality is you all could be doing the exact same thing, showing, and you are to a certain extent, you're doing your best despite or in spite of your circumstances.
Yep. Yep.
And you know what? your body is going to, or your circumstances are going to make the decisions for you. If you don't realize that your expectations may be off, and you have to look at your limitations. And we all have limitations. That whole thing is, it's limited, it's limitless. Whatever is limitless. No, there's limits.
I
There
forgot the
are
name of
limits.
that movie.
You are not a bird. I'm sorry, you can't fly. Gravity says something different. They're like, the sky's the limit. No, no. The limit is the sky. I really don't think that you can sit up there and fly in outer space. It's like, let's be realistic. I get the point, but you have to be realistic, because we we take those things and we set unrealistic expectations. And whenever we don't meet them, we get discouraged.
Yep. Yep.
And that shows up in how we show up. And then we start looking at ourselves and thinking that we're the problem. No, it's not you that's the problem. It's that you don't have systems in place to help support you while you are living life.
Yep.
So every time you were talking about crashing out, every time I crashed, literally, my body just couldn't deal with it. I noticed that it was the same thing. My systems weren't built to support me. They weren't built to, they were built to support my fantasy, the version of me that I thought I should be, but not who I actually am. And it wasn't me that was failing with consistency. It was that I was trying to maintain a schedule that wasn't designed for me. It wasn't designed for a human. It was designed for a robot. It wasn't designed for a CEO that has chronic illness, that had clients, that had emotions, that had real responsibilities, that had aging parents, who had health issues, who had a life. It wasn't built for that person. It was built for this idealistic robot that was going to build this X amount of figures business, that was going to meet all these unrealistic goals, that was going to perform 12 hours a day, when some days I only got a good hour out of me. So you have to be realistic with your abilities. You have to be realistic with what you can do. And you have to be realistic with your expectations out of yourself and out of your team, because guess what? They're not robots either.
Either. Yep.
So
Yep.
you can't expect, understand this. This is your business. So if your realistic capacity is to work 12 hours a day, don't expect them to work 12 hours a day with you, because number one, that's your business. That's not their business. They're here in the capacity to help you build your business. And their ability to show up is going to be different from you. So if you're able to work 12 hours a day, don't expect them to work 12 hours a day. Okay, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here if I haven't already. You know what I've learned out of this whole thing, out of this Diddy situation? They were like, okay, so whenever they were going through the trial and everything, and they were interviewing his people on his team, right? And they would be like, so how often did he work? And they would be like, okay, well, he was on 24/7. He was staying up for 2-3 days, and you had to be up as long as he was up. So that meant that you had to train your body to be up 2 or 3 days. And there were days that I didn't eat and I could only drink water. It was like craziness. And he expected his team to keep up with him. Well, he was on drugs. So that's how he was able to say 2 or 3 days. I mean, but okay, I'm being real. I'm being honest. We said we're gonna be unfiltered, right?
Because he
So,
was though. That's
right?
it's not sustain. Like if you logically think about what they're saying, 2, 3 days. If you have ever experienced that, you know exact. You cannot do that forever.
You can, as someone who has insomnia, I have gone up to 3 days, 3.5 days of no sleep. That is not that you are miserable.
Like
You are
can't imagine. I can't
miserable.
imagine. I cannot.
You feel like once I hit that 3.5 days, yeah, you start seeing things, you start hallucinating, you are going crazy. Your body was not designed to do that. Because, and how do you know that? Because it's an ailment for people who do that. Like something's wrong with you. But those people that were staying up with him, guess what? In order to do that, they created a dependency on narcotics in order to keep up
With him. Yep.
with him.
Yep. Yep.
So that is not, so you cannot, that, let me finish my sentence. That is not sustainable. That is not reasonable. And you, as the business owner, cannot expect your team to meet your same level of consistency or ability to show up because their capacity is different than yours.
Period.
Their ability to show up is different than yours. Again, look at the definition of what consistency is in this concept, in this context. Are you able to be committed to the same outcome, even though the methods may change, even though the circumstances may change? So, are they able to be there for you? Are they reliable in the fact that whenever you need them, they're able to help? They're there. When it's time for them to perform, to do their job, they're there. Not that they're sitting up there available to you on the weekends because you're working on the weekends.
Not their problem, yours. It's yours. So when you said definition of consistency, and this is like, I don't know what this new Oxford American Dictionary defines consistency as conformity in the application of something, typically that which is necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, or fairness. And all that said, all that definition says is are you able to follow something step by step over and over again so that it's a logical for the sake of logic, or you're trying to become better or accurate at something, or it's there's five of you doing the same job. So in all fairness, we need to be all consistent in order for us to be able to deliver.
Mhm.
Nowhere does it say anything about time. Nowhere does it say that we do this forever. It
Yeah.
just says in order to conform, in order for this to be able to happen over and over again. Period. So the extra stuff that we do to be consistent is man-made. Once again, we put the the definition of that and the application of consistency in our lives, we've made it something that seemingly is insurmountable, and that's furthest from the truth.
Right.
So, yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Let me ask you this. So, what's the difference between strategic consistency and emotional consistency?
So that's a good that I put that definition out there. Yes. So being strategically consistent. Think about your onboarding. Hopefully you have a plan. Hopefully you have things in place that you do to train people that are working with you. Strategic consistency is for the first 30 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to meet as a team so that we can go over marketing on Monday, operations on Wednesday, Friday, I don't know, community engagement. We're doing that for the first 3 days. The reason that we're doing that is so that we're all on the same page about what community engagement looks like, what our marketing looks like, what internal operations look like. That's the purpose. You're being strategic. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next 30 days is you being strategic in what it is that you're looking to be consistent about. So going back to the journaling thing that I talked about, if that is something that I know is going to help me in the long run, strategically, I need to put my journal here, set an alarm, and make sure I have a pen and whatever other ambiance I need in order to be able to accomplish the goal of being consistent with me journaling. So I'm strategically placing things in place so that I get it done. I put my clothes out if I'm exercising, my sneakers near the door. I am being strategic in the things that I'm doing in order for me to accomplish a goal. Emotional consistency, it's a little bit, I think it's a little bit different. It's a lot of bit different. You are, for lack of better words, you are checking your feelings around all of this. So, Jay, I always go back to the 5-star virtual service. That's my first business. There was no emotion involved, and no emotion other than the grind emotion, the desire to get new clients. And so at that point, emotion was out of it. Matter of fact, back then, Jay, we didn't talk about our feelings. That was not like literally, that was not a thing. And I'm trying to look at something before I say it because I'm like, I don't want to give the wrong information. Back then, you didn't do the emotion thing was not putting emotions in your business was not a thing. I remember just trying to be so stoic and so, get it done. And at that point, I realized emotions are definitely involved in business. And for us, we are told that we have to be stable. We have to be level-headed. We have to, regardless of what's going on, kind of have this even keel way of dealing with people. And that's not sustainable, which is also the reason why you do not want to put the pressure on yourself to show up every single day, 365 days a year, when you are talking about marketing as an example. It's not rational, and emotionally it can become exhausting. So when we think about emotional consistency, it's part of the reason why I journal. I need to see basically what throws me off my game. And I can't see that if I'm not journaling it, because I'll forget something. Like, I'll forget that you pissed me off yesterday. Like, I'm serious. I'll forget it. And I'm like, and then something will remind me, oh, she pissed me off yesterday. But I still kept it moving. So there are a lot of people out here that have no emotional consistency. They will I'm sorry, they do have it, but they consistently crash out. They consistently don't know how to take a step back and say, time out. I don't like how I'm getting ready to react to you right now. So let me circle back before I do something that is going to destroy everything that I'm trying to build. So one side of it, Jay, requires physical action. Strategic consistently is actions that you can track. Did I show up every day? Did I show up Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Did I journal every day with the idea that I'm going to consistently journal? I'm not going to journal every day, but in order to get this habit into place, I need to consistently journal 5 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday through Friday. And then by the end of the 30 days, it's now a habit.
Right.
Versus emotional consistency, that requires us to know what we're feeling, not get hard on ourselves about what we're feeling, and to be able to say, okay, this is how I really want to show up, but right now this is where I'm at. I crash out, and this is what I'm going to do until I get to a place where emotionally I have become even keeled, despite all the things that is going on around here. And let me just say, as a business owner, you must get to that state where you're not ebbing and flowing with what your team is doing or not doing, what's happening on as far as your Instagram and Facebook stats. And you have to become emotionally consistent. And in a good way. I don't mean emotionally consistently crashing out. I mean emotionally consistent, being the type of business owner, the type of CEO, the type of coach that you want to be. But that requires reflection, and it requires you being able to say, okay, I'm not good here. This is not something that I'm good at, and I need to, in some way, shape, or form, get some help.
I think what you're saying is that your emotions can fluctuate. They're allowed to, and they will.
They will.
But your business cannot fluctuate with them.
Period. Thank you for summing up what I just said.
It's like your emotions. There are going to be days whenever I cannot tell you how many times I thought about closing the doors to my business. I can't do this no more. Or to be honest, I'm tired of these clients. They don't listen. They don't listen. But then those are my feelings at that time. And it can be those same clients that I'm like, oh, I just love them.
Matter of fact, we've done that a couple times, didn't we, Jay?
Right? But my business cannot reflect that. My ability to show up for my clients cannot reflect that. You're getting on my nerves and I'm tired of you. Or, oh, I love you and let me do all the things for you. Because your business cannot sustain that. So to me, strategic consistency is what things are repeatable, what things are sustainable, what things are operational and can have a funnel or a process put in place to support those things. That's strategic consistency. For an example, I may not be able to show up every day, but guess what? My funnel is still on and operational and working. I may not be able to go live every week, but guess what? I have a nurturing email sequence in place that works every day. I may not be able to show up 24/7, but guess what? I have a process that does. I have different platforms that work for me. So I may not be able to respond to every comment, but guess what? This system does.
It,
So you have, that's what consistency looks like. And guess what? Your business will not collapse because you didn't post 3 days in a row. It won't. It won't. However, it could be a symptom that you have a poor infrastructure in place. So while it may not say one thing, it could say something else about your business. So the question isn't about how can I stay consistent. The question is how can I design my business to stay consistent even when I can't?
yep. Yep.
That's the question. So how can we create a flexible consistency plan? And to me, again, it's about the infrastructure. So that doesn't mean to be committed to the method. Don't stay married to it, rather.
Right.
Don't
Right.
stay married to the method, because that can change. That
Right.
will change. For example, it used to be that you need to email your list every day.
Oh my gosh, please don't do that.
Well, now the method is in some areas once a week, in some areas 3 times a week. That is the method. The outcome that you're committed to is, how do I nurture my audience? How do I stay top of mind?
Yep.
How do I continue to stay connected to my email list? That's the outcome. The method is going to change.
Absolutely.
So keep that in mind. Again, don't stay married to the method of, okay, posting on my feed, that's what the method is. I post every day. The outcome that you need to be married to, how can I stay visible in front of my audience? How can I gain an audience? That looks like posting in my stories. That means posting on my page. That means going live. That means doing a reel. That means sharing something. That means it looks different, but you're consistently doing that every week, let's say, as opposed to every day in one set way.
Yep.
You can, and the way things are right now, you can schedule that in advance.
A lot of things. A
So that
lot of
whole thing that
things.
I have to manually be on Instagram, no, you don't.
Not true. Yep. It's
So
not true.
even so, don't set your consistency based on what you can do on your best days. Set it based on what you can do on your most realistic days. Design your business and create systems that's going to support you on low energy days, on emergencies. Again, in our last episode, we were talking about what to do whenever life happens. If your mate gets sick, if your mate needs emergency surgery, what are you going to do? How do you have a coaching program to run? So how do you show up? What's the contingency plan? if you get diagnosed with something, or if something happens to you, what do you do on those days? What do you do whenever the coaching industry changes? How do you stay flexible with that? How do you stay flexible whenever the financial system in this world takes a hit and you go into a depression or a recession, or it's on a high? How do you stay flexible? What are your operating procedures to support you whenever life happens? That's how you stay consistent, and that's how you stay flexible. You plan for days like this. You plan for low energy days, medium energy days, high energy days, when everything goes according to plan, when crap hits the fan, whenever you don't feel like, you plan for it. You need, and this is what I can't stand. When people say there was no plan B, there was only plan A, and I stuck to plan A. They're not telling the truth.
And let me say this: people that are like that, that don't have a plan B, it's for a reason. One, it's for a lot of reasons, but Jay, what I'm hearing you say is you at least need to have a backup. Period. Unless you have gotten so good.
No, they were consistent in the outcome, in the goal. They were consistent in the goal because, okay, whenever people say that, let's say, for example, I don't know, I'm going to pull somebody out the hat. Hi, thanks for everyone. Let me pause right here. Thanks for everyone who is watching live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Want to go ahead and shout them out. Thank you so much. And we're going to get to things that are in the chat in just a second. Whenever people say, in the entertainment industry, they say, I ever since I was a kid, I wanted to do music, and I only had one goal. Or they're in sports, and I only wanted to be a professional basketball player, so that's what I stuck to. Yes, but the path to get there was not what they had envisioned. They stuck with their ultimate goal. So they were consistent in plugging away at that goal. This is what I wanted to do. This is who I wanted to be. I didn't waver from that. But the journey to get there, they had to stay flexible, because guess what? Life happens. Unexpected twists and turns happen. And you can't plan for the unexpected in that sense of, whenever you were 5, you knew that your dad was going to lose his job. And so you were going to have to do this. You didn't know that. You didn't know that. But you stayed consistent with the goal, with the outcome. And that's how consistency stayed there. However, you had to have, okay, if this was going to happen, okay, I need to go this route. If I can't get a deal with Virgin Records, then I'm going to go to I don't know, Bad Boy. I can't think of other record labels that are out now. But or I was going to go to, if I didn't get a record deal there, then I was going to go to Columbia. If I didn't get there, I was going to go to Jive. That's a plan A, plan B, plan C. If this doesn't happen, then I'm going to do this. But the goal was, I want a record deal. So that stayed consistent. You stayed consistent in your tenacity. I'm going to keep going. Despite what happens, I'm going to keep moving. I'm not going to give up on my vision. You stay consistent.
Yep. Yep.
So that's what we're talking about, how consistency shows up and how you need to be flexible, how you can stay focused on the same goal, however how you go about it, how you reach it may change. Did you have? Oh,
Because you stopped, and I'm like, wait, did something happen? Did you not lose? Did you lose my hearing? So, so a couple things. Jay says something that I miss the ability to applaud. Jay mentioned something about when she is not, and this is something that I have admired, so she's hearing this for the first time. But this is something that I have admired about Jay. When it comes to putting systems and structure and platforms and all that stuff together and making sense of it all, Jay does it. Jay does it to a fault sometimes, because once she starts creating stuff, then she's pulling out Canva and chat GBT for words, and in other words, she be doing too much, but that's another conversation for another day. But if you were listening, she mentioned about having systems and structure in place for when something happens with her and her health. I'm jealous, because as much as I talk about a lot of things and a lot of shoulds that we have, I don't have all of that. And the reason why is because I'm constantly having squirrel moments. Like, and the reason why I'm bringing this out or bringing this up, because I know there's somebody that's listening that also has squirrel moments. A platform is introduced. There's platforms introduced every day, all day, twice on Sunday. And of course,
amen.
We get speaking of 17 hats, I remember when Jay got 17 hats years ago, and she was like, I got it for $2 or whatever it was, some crazy number. And Jay never got rid of it. And I'm like, Jay, I don't use it. Why are you still? She was like, girl, Jay's still paying, and this is me joking, but Jay's still paying $2 a month. 17 hats. But in all seriousness, she has a structure in place for when stuff happens. If somebody reaches out to her, they're going to get if she can't answer them live, she's going to get an or they're going to get an automated message. Something's going to be triggered. Maybe they get a calendar. I don't know. Jay may have a workshop somewhere in her funnel. Who knows? I know Jay's like, nobody asked you all this. But my point is, I applaud you, Jay, because that is not easy to do. And moment, Jay don't have 100 people working under her. It's Jay and occasionally somebody else. So guess who did all of that funnel creation? Jay. So hear me when I say coach, consultant, whatever you are. It's not that it's hard. It just, Jay, I don't know how many hours you put into it. I hate talking hours anyway. But I'm going to venture to say that this has been years in the making. And so I'm not saying it to anyone who don't have it, because believe me, like I said, I am jealous. I wish I could not have so many squirrel moments so that I could put all of my stuff together and it connected, because right now it's discombobulated. So if you need me, you really need to email me. Don't try to get me. Like, I'm super old school at this point, because I've definitely, like, I have gaps, I have holes, and I'm admitting that. And I had to stop to applaud because I'm like, Jay, she talks about it like it's no big deal. It's a big deal that she has this stuff into place because it doesn't happen overnight. So I say all that to say, Jay, what systems do you like? What tip would you give people um, as far as when it comes to using systems to create stability? Like, and before you answer, it's like, so like in my mind, it's somebody reaches out to me, what happens next? Then what? And then what? Type thing. But I'm like, that's the way I think about it. How do you think about that whole process or this whole process?
Well, to be honest with you, well, number one, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that, and I guess that's okay. Without sounding haughty, I just need organization, and I think what okay, so this happens, and then what's next? We talk about it all the time.
Yep.
Okay, so then what's next? So they do this. Okay, then what's next? And my reality forced me to have things organized. And so that's why this is my strength, because of your inquisitiveness of how people think and your love of people.
You say you don't love people, Jay? Jay, you telling people you don't love people?
I'm saying that I love people. I just don't like all of them.
If for real, I don't either. But somehow, some way, I figure out a way to relate to them, even though sometimes I don't want to relate to you. But
Hold
I
on. I
understand.
think okay, wait a minute. There was a little okay, there was a glitch in one of our internet
I,
systems. But anyway,
I glitch in
but
the
yes,
matrix.
I love people. But because I love people, I show up and I support them in my way. Because of your love for people and your desire for them to want to show up better in their lives and experience a better life, and you're interested in how they view life and how and their mindset, that's what makes you a great coach. But saying that to say, you asked about creating stability through the use of systems. Every coach should have a way to consistently generate and capture a lead.
Period.
Period. That's you need that system. You need a system that's going to help you nurture the relationship with that lead. You need a consistent way to generate and convert sales. You need a consistent system that's going to help you deliver on whatever you've promised. So if it's a coaching program, what's your system? What's your process that's in place to help you consistently deliver that, regardless of what's happening in your life or how you feel? That's what a funnel is about. That's what your systems do for you. And that's what makes me irritated whenever people talk about, well, you don't need a system, and everybody's talking about you need a funnel. You don't need a funnel, and how you can do this without a funnel. But then they go and explain their funnel. They go and ask you to join their funnel.
But they're not calling it a funnel. That's the thing.
Right.
Everybody got little fancy words for everything, and all Jay is saying is you basically described a funnel. So
Right.
you get
And they'll say, if you're saying this, go ahead and type systems down in the comments and I'll send you my top 10 systems. They're not waiting for you to comment and then sending it to you.
there's a
It's
funnel in
a
place.
funnel. It's a system that's in place for you to receive whatever it is that they have promised. So,
Get,
anyway, I
yes.
digress, but you need those things in place, and those things are going to help you create stability. Those things are going to help you be consistent, even though you, as the human being, cannot show up 24/7. So, if consistency is hard for you, then it just means that you need to have systems in place.
Mm-hmm.
That's a systems red flag, not a character red flag. That's all that is. It's nothing to do with your willpower and your ability to have self-control or self-discipline. It's about how can you use something that's not human to that can show up 24/7 for you and support you while life does its thing.
Mm-hmm.
So build a business that will function without having your emotions and your mood
Mm-hmm.
come into play, without it being dependent on your motivation or your current life situation. That's basically what it is. And if you're like, okay, Jay, I think I have a way to capture my leads. If you're saying I think, go ahead, drop a comment, or you can follow us. You know what? Email hello at unspokentruthpodcast.com.
Yes. And we'll get back to you. Like,
That's what you need to do. You need to, if you're like, I have a nurture system, I have an email, but I don't email my list regular, you need to send an email.
mm-hmm.
If you're like, okay, what do you mean by a sales part? You need to email. If you're like, how do I have Kartra, Kajabi, I have a 17 hats, I have Dubsado, but I haven't you need to email us
Yes.
because you can have the platforms in place, but if you think you have it but you don't know, you haven't seen it recently,
Mm-hmm.
you haven't checked on it, you haven't done an audit, you haven't touched it, we need to get something in place for you so that that's up and running. And you, because if you don't know what's happening in your business, then you cannot confidently control or captain your business as a true CEO. And that's going to impact how you show up as a coach. That's going to impact your business. It's going to be a domino effect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and address those issues. But Kyna, before we end this, I want to give you the floor and address how can they show up with grace and do that without the guilt of, I get what you're saying, but I still feel bad because I'm not able to do blah 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 blah. How address that?
Yeah, I sure will. So this is the point in the podcast where I go back to I am not a therapist. And I have to say that because there are so many people that I talk to on a regular basis that's like, Kyna, you need to go back to school. You need to go to school. So I'm gonna do what Jay did. So for those who are listening, she just put something on the screen that says Kyna is not a therapist. What was the rest of the words, Jay? Her thoughts, all of her thoughts and opinions are based on real experiences. True. True. And if you need receipts, I can call a person or two if you questioning the stories that I tell you. Anyway, um,
Oh, I love how we are.
so giving yourself grace is um, definitely difficult for a lot of people because we tend to be super hard on ourselves when doesn't matter what it is, and especially if we're building a business, have a business, been in business for a while, we are hard on ourselves because there's a level of perfection that we're always trying to seek, even though we know the it really needs to be the pursuit of progress versus the pursuit of perfection, but that's neither here nor there. So, what I'm going to say is step outside of your whatever it is that you're feeling guilty about. So, in this case, we're talking about being inconsistent. Again, I think I have a whole journal alone on me kicking myself for missing a day, missing a week, dropping off for a month. And I'm here to tell you, you don't, there is no reward for, there's no reward for doing something good 100% of the time. None. Especially when we're talking about business. The reason why there's no reward for that is because it's just not reasonable. It's not logical to think that the thing that we're building is going to be right every single time. The thing that we're trying to be consistent with is going to happen every single time. We're human. I implore you to give yourself grace. We spend too much time being hard on ourselves and not enough time appreciating the two out of the 10 steps that we took. Like we're so focused on the 8 steps that we negate that last week I didn't take no steps. This week I took 2. I wanted to take 10, but I did 2. So you see, I even fixed my word because I was getting ready to say only, and that's a mindset that or words that we use that can make us feel like we're not doing enough. And so for me, for you, you have to understand where you've come from. Where did all this start? Most of the time it's at 0. So anything that you're doing moving forward is a plus, i.e., no guilt. If anything, you should be applauding yourself for taking that first step, taking the second step. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. It's saying, okay, create the plan. So you do have to listen to what we're saying, what Jay and I are like, you got to create a plan, and it can't be up here. It needs to be on paper, because if it's up here, guess what that does? It gives you an opening to not do anything or do a mediocre job. So it needs to be on paper. And if you're feeling really, what did what's that fresh? If you're feeling real. If you're feeling real ambitious, I was trying to think of a Fresh Prince of Bel Air. He said a statement, but anyway, if you're feeling real ambitious, share it with somebody else. Tell somebody else what you're doing, and hopefully that person is good enough that they'll help you to realize that no, you didn't complete the whole list. No, you weren't consistent every day, but you did do 2 days, because you need that encouragement, especially if you're not able to identify that yourself. So you must give yourself grace. And if you struggle with that, then I would encourage you to seek out, some help. I go to therapy. Jay's thing is God and the Bible. Whatever you choose what's best for you, But understand that help needs to be one that's going to help you to realize how great you are without doing all the things. So we're going to get rid of the guilt, give ourselves more grace, and knock out the things that Jay is telling you to do. Because I know Jay can be like real drill sergeant. Get it done, no excuses, let's go.
Ain't nobody ask you.
We need you in our lives though, so let's just make that very clear, because otherwise you be all pie in the sky like me, and oh, we can get that done in a week. Kyna, how can we do a whole workshop with all the collateral and the follow up in a week? I don't know, but we gonna do it. Jay's like, no, no, we need 2 months.
Because life is gonna be lifing. And by the end of week 1, I'm gonna be like, I'm tired. I don't want to talk about this no more.
And re-enter the hustle mentality. Oh, so such a vicious cycle.
See, realistic in our expectations. Being real, we know ourselves.
Yes, yes. Some things we will admit live. Other things we'll admit if we see you one on one, but we will admit it.
Yeah, I think that you sum that up very well. That there's no shame in missing the mark. There's no shame in reaching out. I honestly believe that we were not created to do anything by ourselves. You are not going to be successful by yourself. That's just not how life is. That's not how you were created. We all share this experience, so I hope you all were able to glean something from this conversation. My closing thought is that the goal isn't to be perfect in your consistency to show up every day forever. That's not realistic. The goal is to build a business and an infrastructure that can be consistent for you so that you can be a human being.
Human being.
Because that's life. That's the real. That's the unspoken truth of it all. Right? Thank you all for joining us in this conversation. I know we went a little bit long, but you know what? We had some real stuff to say about this, obviously. We had a ball, and I hope you did too in listening. Thank everyone for joining us live. Thank you for those of you who will be listening or watching the replay, and those who are our listeners of our podcast. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate you. We thank you. And you could have been doing anything else in the world, but you chose to spend this time with us, and we're forever and eternally grateful and thankful. Until next time, everyone, you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.